Larry Kudlow thinks you're getting $800 a week in benefits. One channel thinks you're getting a $1,600 check, and CNBC is reporting your $1,200 stimulus check is on its way. Get your tickets. The Hot Mess Express is coming into the station. Good morning. Boy, I can't even figure out what time of day it is. Good morning. Thank you for joining me for morning's LALATE. It's Sunday morning, and boy, it's it's barely sunrise, and there is more ridiculousness happening than a concert of Nene Leakes rap singing. It's Sunday morning, and Larry Kudlow, CNBC, and several other channels are really doing new math that requires you to either pop a few Advil or have an extra cup of coffee. Thank you for joining me for every morning at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. For morning's LA Late, we have big breaking news and a lot of strange math to start the morning with. Overnight, the president issued 4 executive orders to provide what he thought was executive relief for the second stimulus package. And viewers quickly asked me, hey, LA, what's going to happen, especially with FPUC? How soon will I get the money? And my response is, you'll never see the FPUC money because it's going to go to court probably on Monday morning. Several of the executive orders were issued, well, actually all 4 of the executive orders were issued by the president. The problem was that of them, several of them were unconstitutional and won't hold up. And basically, viewers were asking me how this is going to work. So let me get right to the point. The point is that for purposes of FPUC, the legality of the executive order is just not going to float a boat. It's going to sink quicker than a bad Lisa Rinna storyline on Beverly Hills Housewives. It's basically unlawful for the president. He has no constitutional authority to send out money. That requires an act of Congress. So as you sit here and say, why didn't he sign an executive order for my second stimulus check, which a lot of viewers asked about, why wouldn't he send out my stimulus check? Well, first of all, he could have done it for purposes of publicity, which some people think this move was for yesterday, but for purposes of longevity, he couldn't do it because it also would be unlawful. What's going to happen is there's going to be a lawsuit filed probably tomorrow, and people ask me how fast this gets resolved. It will be asked for an injunction, emergency injunction. They'll go to federal court. It'll be an injunction against the president of the White House to stop the order because it's unconstitutional. It'll be set for hearing, and it could be adjudicated within 48 hours. So it'll stop it dead in its feet. As I reported yesterday, this is actually really great news, and a lot of people think that the president did this on purpose. That's your decision. It's great news because it's getting at those 4 wonderful people who spend all of 2 hours every single day. It's a hard job, isn't it, working 2 hours a day in the negotiation rooms. Mark, Nancy, Chuck, and Stevie. It'll get them back to the negotiation table and get your check. The Hot Mess Express heated up minutes ago, and I'm not exaggerating. I was having my breakfast. I usually eat after taping, but I was eating before taping, and I literally choked watching Larry Kudlow. Now, Larry Kudlow is a former CNBC analyst and was probably paid, $200,000 a year by CNBC to report on financial news. Well, he couldn't do a single mathematical calculation with Dana Bash on CNN. She asked him to explain what's happening with FPUC, as you have asked me as well. The president's executive order yesterday, let me explain to you what it really says. The president's executive order yesterday provides $400 from the federal government, not $600, per week to be provided on top of your UI or PUA benefits. As you know, because you've been with me for a while, UI and PUA benefits start at $98 a week or $198 a week. States start their base unemployment benefits at about $98 to $198 a week. Okay, so you got the math. This is pretty easy math. 6th graders can do this math. 98 plus 400 is what? 498. Well, under Larry Kudlow's math, it's $800. just can't. I can't even record this. Larry Kudlow said, so we're giving a lot of money. We're giving a lot of money, and so what we're doing is we're giving $400. The federal government is giving $400, and the $400 is going on top of the $400 that the states are giving you, so you're going to get $800 a week. It's a lot of money. $800 a week, and we've been proposing $800 a week for several weeks. The Republicans introduced bills for over several weeks ago, many weeks ago, for $800 a week, and so you're going to be getting $800 a week. Now, I'm eating my food and I'm choking, listening to him laughing. And at the same time, Dana Bash, who usually has no expression. I mean, I don't know if it's the Botox or what it is. She's usually like this. No, I'm just being facetious. She's rolling her eyes, thinking, and he says 800. She rolls her eyes, and then she says there's a bill that has been around for several weeks on the Republicans at $800 a week. She's rolling her eyes. Now, we know this is Larry Kudlow, who has escaped from that hospital several times. No, I'm kidding as well. But, boy, she said, where are you getting your math from? What number are you talking about? He said, well, it's $800. She says, is there extra money out there that you're talking about that I've never heard of? That's what she said. It's CNN. Had it been me interviewing him, I would have said, what the friggin' hell are you talking about? I would have probably cursed, been cursed and bleeped out or bleeped myself out in editing. It was like, what the friggin' hell are you talking about, Larry? First, there is no base level benefits of states of $400. Second, escalated benefits, which raise your base UI or PUA benefits, which I've helped a lot of viewers get. I've helped a lot of viewers get that. Some states don't even go up to $400 a week. Some states cap it at $300 a week. Even if you made $200,000 last year or $500,000 last year, they only cap their unemployments at like $200, $300 a week. That's if you apply for escalated benefits. A lot of states' computer systems don't process them. A lot of states have never given them. A lot of states just don't want to pay it. So no one starts at $400 a week, Larry. Second, the contention that state UI and PUA benefits start, that the contention that the Republican bill introduced many weeks ago, which was introduced as of tomorrow, it will be 2 weeks ago, so it's not many weeks ago, called for $800 a week is also insane. It called for $200 a week. Now, what made this hysterical was I was actually a little bit late coming to the interview, and apparently it was off the tracks even before I tuned in. And so I went to Twitter, and thank you for all your tweets. I saw them. They were hilarious. He was talking about, in one sentence, he said, well, we're going to give you 800, 600, 400, 1,200. And people's comments were like, can we get the transcript from CNN and use Google Translate? Because I don't know what language Larry's talking, but it's not the language I speak. So this is where we are. Now, what's ironic about this is that this is good news. Yeah, you're going to be like, how the hell is that good news, Allied? It's good news because it basically shows the ridiculousness that these people are dealing with. There's ridiculous on the Republican side, and there's ridiculousness for Nancy, as you all commented really well last night. I loved your comments about her intention to bail out states and holding up your check because she wants to give billions of dollars, the vast majority of a $3 trillion package. She wants to give billions and billions of dollars to states who don't need relief now, who are not urgent for relief. They should sit in line behind you where you've been struggling for your check since May. And I forgot to mention this point before in yesterday's recording. I'm not going on a tirade because it's only 8:30 in the morning, but I'm doing really good recollection skills. My memory's strong in the morning. That's what happens when you get more than, when you turn 21. No, I'm just kidding. The point is that in May, the states got fortunes. The states got fortunes. And what did you get? You got a measly $1,200 check. You got a measly $1,200 check, and you were promised multiple checks. So here are those wonderful people with their hands out again. Gavin Newsom, who doesn't understand that the state's, COVID-19 cases are out of control, and, he's not shutting down the states. He's asking for more money, and Republican states are asking for more money. Every state is asking for more money when you got money before. We're here. We're sitting here with our coffee and our bagel. I don't know what do you like? Bagel, English muffin? I love an English muffin. Sunday morning, we're sitting here. So where's my darn check? Get behind me. You got your money in May. Get behind. There's a line back here. It's like the person who cuts in the line at Costco for the free food. When they used to have free samples. Tries to kind of find, gets a free sample. I'm like, get behind me. I'm getting the free sample. I've been here first. So that was that. Then there was other people. I rarely talk about other things I see out there, and people are always sending me tweets and DMs. Did you see what this person said? Did you see what that person said? But on this channel, in the comments, I got a couple questions about this, so I really want to address it because it's really quite important. There are claims by people, and I'm not going to respond to who they are, but the claims by people you're going to get a $1,600 check, or a $3,600 check, or a $2,400 check. I mean, why not, if you're going to tell lies to viewers, why not just tell them they're going to get a $10,000 check or a $20,000 check or a $45,000? I mean, just make up lies. And to make it even clear, they're saying stimulus check. So one person in particular last night said that they saw that the executive order gave you a $1,200 stimulus check. It was one of those moments where it's late at night and you have your cocktail. No, I was not yet drinking, but I certainly needed a drink after I saw this. So I thought, did I really mess up all Saturday? Was there an executive order that I messed up and I missed it? Was there an executive order for a stimulus check on Saturday that I did not see? A stimulus check for $1,200 that's landing in everyone's bank account that was issued on Saturday? Oh crap! I really messed up my recording. So I went and looked and I listened and I'm like, oh, this person's referring to FPUC, $400 a week times 4 weeks, or 3 weeks, $1,200, or 4 weeks, $1,600, depending on what version of the story he's telling you. No. And then there's this other person who's doing this saying, hey, there's a $2,400 check and there's a $2,600 check. I mean, hey, and you know what I get? Instead, I get the commenter where he says, you've worn the same shirt for 4 days. I've not worn the same shirt for 4 days. They just look similar. So today I'm wearing a entirely different shirt. And if you are colorblind, then God bless you. But I can't help you with that. I can help you with your stimulus check, but I can't help you if you're colorblind. So no, there's no $1,600 check. There's no $2,400 stimulus check. There's no $1,600 check. I mean, these numbers are just, where are these people coming from? I just don't know. They're doing, I know where they came from. They went to the Larry School Academy of Modern Mathematics. That's where they came from. Next, CNBC. Wow. I mean, I would never be saying this from CNBC, but their lead article this Sunday morning is your $1,200 stimulus check is still coming. I love that. What do you think about it? Now, when you read the body of the article, is it confusing? Perhaps. Let me explain to you what they're saying. What they're saying is ironically what I've said to you for 2 weeks, which is the $1,200 stimulus check, whether you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, or veterans benefits, was agreed upon by these 4 people who love to call each other names. They agreed upon that, and they agreed upon it literally the first day. So that was literally 2 weeks ago. They agreed upon it. And it appears, and I've always qualified this because I have to, it appears that they agreed upon the dependence amount at $1,200, because remember the Republicans proposed at $500 and the Democrats proposed at $1,200. And it's likely, but we also don't know, and I have to qualify it as well, it's likely that they also agreed upon the Democrats' proposal that child support would not be taken from the second stimulus check. So this seems to have all been agreed upon, and so the CNBC story says, hey, your $1,200 stimulus check is still coming. It just hasn't been finished. Well, it hasn't been finished because there's all this other mess of the stimulus package that we now know was a mixture of 2 faults, if you watched yesterday's video. And the great news as you sit here on a Sunday morning choking because Larry Kudlow is making you dizzy and making you want to pop Advil before 8 o'clock in the morning is that, one, there is only there's only 2 things that's holding these people up. And 2, we clearly now see the path to how to get these people back to the table. Let me go over this very shortly. First, there's 2 things that's holding these people up. The one is Nancy Pelosi's insanely big bailout to states, which shouldn't be in the stimulus package. It needs to be cut out of there right away. And two, Mark Meadows needs to be removed from the room. He's really the reason why this negotiations has fallen apart, because ultimately he doesn't want to negotiate, and he says he doesn't want to negotiate. He wants to just do everything by executive orders. Then just stay out of the room, Mark. And while we may laugh that he's kicking tables and hitting tables and bamming the table and whatnot, it's more consistent with the reports that he does not want to be in the room. There's another report that says he walked out of the room and didn't want to stay in there, and he spends most of his time on the phone with the president. Well, just get out of there. Have Steve and Nancy do it. Chuck is also not, the greatest negotiator in the world. If you've never seen it, watch some old SNL sketches where he's known to just roll over and give everyone anything they want. So just have Nancy and Steve in the room. They like each other. They admit they like each other, and get it done for the American people and take out the big bailout. Now, the next question is, how do we get to that point? And when will we get to the point? So this is also the really great news. The great news is we would likely get to it depending on the lawyers. God, why are we dependent on the lawyers, LALATE? Yeah. Depending on the lawyers, we would likely get to this by middle of next week. Why do I say that? It's going to take a certain amount of time for the lawyers to get to court to seek an injunction against the president for this insane FPUC executive order, which is not going to stand up for a day. Once that's shot down and Mark Meadows has a reality check that he needs to get stuff from the American people and can't just sit in a golf course and issue executive orders. He needs to sit down or he needs to leave the room and let Nancy and Steve negotiate this. Then there's progress, because unfortunately, where we are at? We're sort of at a bad situation where people don't realize that they're not confronting reality correctly. Some people were asking me last night, like, what's going on here, LALATE? And, I tagged Mitch and I tagged Mark and Steve, and I said, their priority at the moment is to be able to write off a fancy lunch at the Capitol Grill in D.C. of shrimp tartare when you can't even have money, when you don't even have money to put on the table to buy food for your children. And it's actually true, because they want a tax deduction to go out to lunch, and you don't even have food stamps. So while the reality is not hitting these people in the face, the good news is it likely will hit it very soon and very quickly. When we get to that point of reckoning, as they would often say in the Bible, or that moment of epiphany, then everything will come to fruition. And likely what's going to be first on the plate will be the stimulus check, because everyone has agreed upon it. The next likely thing will be the correct FPUC, and done the correct way, retroactive. A lot of people are asking me about it. It's going to be retroactive. It's not even clear from the executive order, and I know you've asked me that as well. It's not clear from the executive order if it's retroactive. 3, rent eviction and rent moratorium, which I haven't even covered in this video. I did it last night. The executive order is not good for eviction moratorium or mortgage forbearance. And you know why it's not good if you didn't watch last night's video? It's because it doesn't really say it. It just says that Ben Carson will look at the situation, get back to you. Really? We're 2 feet away from being thrown on the street, and we're going to have Dr. Ben Carson look at the situation for us. That's like, boy, that's like having Snooki tell you that she's gonna, walk your dog after she does her spray tan. It's insane. It's like, wait a second, what are you talking? We're putting our entire livelihood in the hands of Ben Carson to just look at it and decide whether to do something about it? No, thank you. I'd rather have stale waffles and chicken. Then there's that mortgage forbearance, which is the same problem. So until we get to that point of goodness, and yes, hazard pay will likely get approved, then we will be there. Positive news for a Sunday morning. Good news. Your stimulus check is coming. It's going to be $1,200, as CNBC reports it correctly. It's not coming today. It's not coming tomorrow. If the deals are back on the table, the people get back in the room and negotiate and get this done, the turnaround time is very quick. And I want to impress, this is so important. This is really what's great news, is that these people get back to the table. Nancy and Steve, they get an agreement. They send it to the Senate floor. Mitch will order the members of the Senate back in town. Don't worry about that. He promised he would. He would order. I have to believe some promises in this group. He will order them back into town. They will vote on it. The vote will take no less than 2 days. The president will sign an executive order. I mean, we could get this done by the end of this week. Yeah, I mean, we could. And that would mean your check by electronic delivery would come in the month of August. Paper check, maybe the first week of September. See? Things do turn around. They do turn around. Just don't have Larry Kudlow do your math or balance your checkbook. $1,200, $400, $600, $800. Boy, I just never have laughed so hard in my entire life. It's at early in the morning. Coming up later today is afternoon's LALATE at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. I expect, and I'm giving you a fair warning, that all these people with their ridiculousness are going to be appearing on Sunday morning news, chatting up their heads. Please take some Advil or don't tune in, because it's just going to be ridiculousness, and I will cover it for you. And then coming up later tonight is evening's LALATE. Oh, and the big announcement I forgot to tell you 20 minutes into this video. Tonight we launch a new series. Yes, an extension of evening's LALATE will launch a new video every so often that I can do it, which will start tonight. A comedy moment. Yes, so get your scarves ready, get your Blaine 66 headphones ready and bad hair. I'm going to be... I will be relentless. No one will feel safe. Whether you're Lisa Renner or Mitch McConnell or Nancy Pelosi, you're all under my radar. So get ready to laugh in the evenings. I think you've all wanted it, and I'm going to deliver it to you starting tonight on LALATE. Have a great afternoon. Have a great morning, and don't burn that toast. Take care.